Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Roche Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. We are back, folks, with our Week 11 college football predictions. And last week, there was some great results. Did not get to recap them, unfortunately, with my good friend Will and D. Hopefully, we will be back to do all that stuff next week. Schedule's kind of crazy this week, but we should be back hopefully next week with our regularly scheduled predictions and recaps. But yeah, definitely cannot wait to get into Week 11. Like I said, I know there was some crazy results last week in Week 10. A lot of great stuff going on in college football as we get closer and closer to determining who's going to make the conference championship games and the playoffs. We saw Indiana blowing out Maryland last week. Georgia squeaking by the Florida Gators yet again, finding ways to win. Georgia is, but not look all that impressive while doing it. NC State knocking off Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech finally caught up with them. Barely beating bad teams. They finally couldn't get it done. That really hurt their playoff chances, although they're not eliminated by no means. Texas barely beating Vandy after destroying them. SMU knocking off Miami. We knew Miami were frauds. We knew it. We knew that they were frauds. And they finally completely exposed themselves after losing to Louisville. And then SMU, their playoff chances are almost nil, even though they still have a slim chance, but they're not likely to get in. Notre Dame beat BC. OU beat Tennessee and eliminated the Volunteers. So, yeah, just a lot of crazy results, a lot of great games. USC beat Nebraska in heartbreaking fashion. Nebraska still cannot win a ranked game to save their life, and it sucks for them. Raiola's out for the season, so it's bad news bears for Nebraska. But those are just some of the results, my quick thoughts on some of those games. But now we got to get to Week 11, and I like some of these matchups. Yeah, as they always say, it's not like one of the best weekends or whatever, for games. There's not like tons of high-quality matchups, but you go through the weeds of these games, you're going to find games that are going to end up being bangers. You're going to find some game or two that's going to impact the playoff race in ways that you would not expect. So definitely excited to get into it. We got Jackson here saying, what's up, Only Talk Sports Nation? Appreciate you for being here, Jackson. Always appreciate the support. Definitely always love having you in the chat. Love doing the shows with you on Alabama, Voice of College Football. It's always a blast. Great show last night. It was tons of fun. But Friday night, which is basically a few hours from now, we're almost at the Friday night games. Going to be very excited to check out some of these games, even though not the best games in the world. But you got Houston UCF. That's an interesting little game. Houston, I was disappointed in them last week. They got blown out. Now, before Houston losing last week, they'd actually looked really good and look like one of the better teams in the Big 12. But that was a very disappointing result last week. UCF's not a great team, so I will go with Houston to win this one, 21-17, just because UCF is not a great team. But my faith in Houston has been shaken a little bit. But I do believe Willie Fritz will get his team to turn around against Central Florida. Northwestern at USC. USC has seemingly, turned their season around. They've got a chance to make the playoffs, right? I still think with the remaining schedule, it's going to be very hard for them to do so, but they technically, winning out, would have a chance to make the playoffs. They could get in. Northwestern, to me, is not going to be a team that poses a challenge too much. They're not a terrible team by no means, not like Northwestern's like the worst team in the Big Ten. But they're still not all that good either. So I'm going to go with USC to win this one, 35-20. I think that USC comfortably wins this game at home. They got some tougher games coming up, but Northwestern should be a pretty easy win for SC. Then we got Tulane at Memphis. Interesting game here because both these teams are two of the better group of five teams left. Now that, the group of five has been ravaged since a lot of these teams have gone to Power 4. But Tulane and Memphis are solid teams. Memphis, though, it's really interesting because of the fact that they had that bad loss to UAB. But then they turn around and they beat South Florida. And that was a good win, beating South Florida. It kind of hurt South Florida's chances to make the playoffs. So Memphis technically has the best odds to make the college football playoff out of the group of five as of right now. But it's going to be very interesting to see whether they can get this one over to Tulane, because if they lose to Tulane, their chances are probably done. And Tulane's odds would probably increase with a win here. It's a 50-50 game, and when it comes to 50-50 games like this, I typically have to go with the home team. Memphis just got a big win at home against South Florida, so I will go with Memphis to win this game 28-27. I'll say Tulane covers, but Memphis wins. Should be a pretty solid game and potentially the best game of the night in college football. Moving on to the Saturday games, though. Oh, yeah, Caden, he's back. He's already back. He's already back in the house. I thought he was gone. I thought he was going to disappear, but Caden, the Diesel Freak, is back. So excited to see you, Caden. Knew you could stay away for long. Couldn't even make it a week. Oh, it was less than 24 hours. So definitely excited to see you back around, Caden. Hope you stick around. We will get to the less boring schools. We know which teams you want to talk about. One of those teams is playing in the noon window, so we'll get to them shortly. But first, we got to get to Indiana at Penn State. This is the last game on the schedule for Indiana that could potentially go Ari. You know, it's one of those things where you look at Indiana's schedule. They play Wisconsin and Purdue after this, and both Wisconsin and Purdue are dumpster fires. And yes, anything can happen, and I'm not taking those games for granted at all whatsoever, because you never know. Anybody can play spoiler, but Indiana, if they beat Penn State, their odds of winning out go through the roof. And for Indiana to possibly get their first 12-0 season ever would be incredible. But Penn State is a challenge because, yes, Penn State has lost 5 games in a row. They're 3-5. They should be no threat. Indiana's favored by 14.5 points, which is big because Indiana has never been favored against Penn State. Definitely have never been favored against Penn State on the road, and they've never beaten Penn State on the road. Both of Indiana's wins against Penn State, and they've only beaten them twice in 2013 and 2020. Both came at home. So they only beat Penn State twice at home. So Indiana at Penn State, I think this game has the potential to go one or two ways. Either Penn State shows up because they're playing a top 5 team and they want to knock off and get an upset, play spoiler. You know, Terry Smith, the interim coach, is trying to fire up the team, and this game could be really close. Or Indiana completely blows the doors off of them. It's one or two situations. And I obviously hope that the latter happens where Indiana completely destroys them. But I don't know. I'm a little worried just because, you know, the cynic in me, right? As one would say, I'm not a cynic, but when you watch Indiana, you're just used to seeing them lose. You're just used to seeing them choke. You're just used to seeing things go bad. But this team is so different. Signetti, they've reached heights they've never reached before. It just feels like they'll win. It just feels like they'll be ready. I'm going to go with Indiana to win this game 31-20. I'll say Penn State covers. I'll say Penn State gives them a relatively good game, but Indiana ends up winning in the end. I hope they win by a lot more. I hope there's no doubt. I hope they leave it all out there on the field, and Penn State's not even close. But Penn State's got enough talent, and if they show up, the game could get dicey. But I think Indiana should be fine. It's going to be a good game, big noon kickoff. But here we get to Caden, who no longer is Caden. I'm friends and a former teammate of Caden's. It's funny how Caden says I'm, like it's a singular person, but it's friends and a former team. So how can multiple people be writing a single text, Caden? It cracks me up. Caden is not Caden. He's not Caden, but he's here in the flesh. So we got Caden's second favorite team, which he did abandon for a minute because he went from Georgia to Miami because he, was an Ohio State guy, but he went to Miami for a minute. But I told you once Miami collapsed, and we knew they would, he'd go back to Georgia. So Georgia, Mississippi State. I agree with Jackson on this one. Mississippi State kept it close with Georgia last year, and Georgia still ain't looking all that good. They keep winning. Their superior talent will be enough in this game. But with the Cowbells, the game being on the road, and plus Mississippi State has played a lot of teams close, I'm going to go with Georgia to win this game 24-17. I think Georgia wins, but Mississippi State covers. It'd be great if Georgia lost, but Georgia just keeps winning. They keep finding ways to win. They've looked terrible, but they keep finding ways to win, and that probably is just going to keep happening. There's really not much else you can say about it. I mean, it's Kirby Smart, and whether you like Kirby or not, the Georgia Bulldogs, despite not being as good as they were with those championship teams, they just keep squeaking out wins, and they'll squeak out another one against Mississippi State. Not looking all that good, but they'll win. Then you've got BYU at Texas Tech. Game of the week, right? I mean, I don't know. This is a top 10 game. It's a top 10 matchup. It's the Big 12's highlight. I mean, the fact Texas Tech is favored by 10.5 kind of tells you how much people actually think BYU is good. Because Caden, in his own words yesterday, he said that BYU, Texas Tech, and Georgia Tech are better than Texas, which, again, I still laughed at. And then when he said West Virginia was better than Texas, I lost it at that point. But BYU, Texas Tech, I mean, I don't even know if this game's going to be good or not. I mean, it's all going to come down to BYU, whether they can show up or not in Lubbock. I agree with Scotty B. Appreciate you being here, by the way, Scotty B. If this game was at BYU, if it was in Provo, I think that it would be a better game. And it would actually be like a 50-50-ish game. But, I mean, this is a top 10 matchup that it could be boring as heck. I don't know. I'm not saying it will be. Maybe BYU shows up, but I think BYU is a little bit fool's gold. I mean, they're kind of like Georgia Tech to me, and they did this last year too. BYU started out undefeated, and then they fell apart late. BYU's got some tough games the rest of the way. I think they play at Cincinnati too. So, you know, BYU, I feel like this is their time to fall apart. I think Texas Tech wins this game 34-17. I think Texas Tech actually probably wins fairly easily. I like a close game, and I would be okay with BYU winning, but I think Texas Tech wins. SMU should beat Boston College. You know what? Since West Virginia got a big win last week, I'll go with West Virginia to win over Colorado. Colorado's pretty terrible. So I'll go with West Virginia by 10. I'll give them 10 points there. Moving on from those games, Ohio State at Purdue with an odd kickoff time of 1 o'clock. Usually Big Ten Network games start at noon. It's kind of weird they're starting it at 1 o'clock. It's not going to make a daggone bit of difference. Ohio State is going to completely destroy Purdue. It's going to be ugly. They'll cover. Ohio State should win by 40+. Rondell Moore is not walking in the building for Purdue or Jeff Brom. So that is going to be a completely and utter destruction of a game. So now we got Fairbanks Freight Train 58 coming in with a $5 super chat. I took over Caden's account and he asked me to troll you because he got tired of your bullcrap. Well, I appreciate Caden for letting you know Fairbanks Freight Train 58. Yeah, I appreciate that. Hope Caden and Fairbanks Freight Train 58 both tune into the channel. I mean, oh man, this is funny as heck, man. I think it's great. Like you can't beat this stuff. This is why we love college football, man. It's the discussion. It's the banter. It's the back and forth, and you cannot beat the fans. Like going to a game, when you go to a football game, and you've got, you know, like the fans talking smack to each other, you can't beat that. You know, like that's what I'm saying. Like you can't take this stuff seriously. You cannot take this stuff seriously. I do try to provide objective analysis of these games, but when you got stuff like this happening, it's a free-for-all at that point. So I appreciate it. Caden / Fairbanks Freight Train 58. Got Ron Burgundy 1982 saying that's Caden's burner account. The fact Caden's got a burner account is crazy. But we appreciate everybody for being here. Again, if you are new, like the stream, subscribe down below. We're going to keep on rolling here on this show. And I will continue making live streams and videos in the future. We're going to keep moving on here. We're getting closer to 3,000 subscribers as well, and I could not do it without you guys. I appreciate the support so much. I mean, we're like barely over 200 subscribers away from 3,000 subs. I cannot even believe it. That is insane. Never would have thought when I started my channel that I would have this many subscribers. It's an incredible journey. It's an incredible amount of support you guys have shown, and I appreciate it a lot. But again, thank you to Fairbanks Freight Train 58, Caden's friend / burner account. Definitely appreciate it. Now up next, though, we got Maryland at Rutgers. 2.5 point spread for Rutgers. I've got literally no thoughts on this game, man. I mean, both teams are trash. like, it's sad that Rutgers, like, under Shiano had, like, their moment in the sun of decency, and now they're just kind of sucking wind. And then Maryland, Indiana destroyed them. I mean, Maryland before the IU game was very competitive. I mean, they should have beat Washington and lost. They had a lot of games that they were winning and lost. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, both teams I think are 4-4, I believe, or 4-5, right? In the case of Maryland, right? No, 4-4. Maryland's 4-4. Rutgers is 4-5. I mean, it's 50-50. I'll just go Rutgers since they're at home by 1. I'll say 21-20. Maryland kind of looks broken. I do know that Maryland does end up typically playing a little better in November to make a bowl game, which, maybe. I mean, Loxley's like holding on by thin ice. Maybe he wins because of that fact, but I'll just go Rutgers by 1. I mean, really the significance of this pick doesn't really matter at all. I mean, I try to, get them right in all the games, but this is just one of those type of games that most people probably aren't even going to pick anyway. It's Maryland Rutgers. There's not a lot to say here, man. So Rutgers by 1. Up next, we've got Texas A&M at Missouri. I'll get the banner off the screen so you guys can see the games down there. A&M at Missouri. This is an interesting game because I still don't know if I trust Texas A&M, which is it's hard to say because they've looked great, but I still look at the Auburn game and the Arkansas game. A&M can be vulnerable at times, sometimes offensively in the case of the Auburn game, and sometimes defensively when it comes to the Arkansas game. They gave up 42 points to Arkansas. And remember, A&M beat Notre Dame, but Notre Dame only gave up 13 to Arkansas. So that's why, the transitive property and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you're going off the Arkansas result, Notre Dame's better than A&M. But if you're going off the head-to-head, A&M's better. A&M has been inconsistently good, though. They've been really good this year. I'm glad the committee ranked them 3rd, though. I think that 3 is fair. I mean, yeah, I know it's SEC, but I mean, Indiana and Ohio State have objectively looked better than Texas A&M. And yeah, the LSU game was impressive, but LSU's not very good, and Brian Kelly just gave up. So I don't know, man. I feel like if Missouri, because I agree with Scotty B's point, Missouri's down to the third-string quarterback. If Missouri was healthy and Missouri was not broken down at QB, I honestly would possibly pick an upset here. I honestly would. I would highly consider picking an upset because I do think A&M is going to go down. I don't know what it's going to be. It could be against Texas, but I do think A&M is going to lose in the regular season eventually. But I have to go with A&M here. It's going to be a pretty decent game, I believe, if Missouri's crowd can hang in there and Missouri's third-string quarterback can compete. But I'll go with A&M to win 28-17. I think Missouri keeps it close, but A&M does ultimately pull away. Then this is another game everyone's talking about here. Oregon at Iowa. This game is very interesting because Iowa, I witnessed firsthand Indiana play at Iowa, and today Iowa gave Indiana the best game of the season. It gave Indiana their best test per se, because Indiana legitimately almost lost that game. Iowa is still kind of broken offensively, but they've gotten better. They've gone from a completely broken offense to an offense that has a broken leg. It's gotten better. They have gotten better offensively, but they're still terrible, pretty much, compared to in the grand scheme of college football. Defensively, they're not as elite as Phil Parker's elite Iowa defenses that were ranking number 1 in the country, but Iowa's still a good defensive team. And it's at home. It's a tough place to play. Oregon, I just think, is vastly more talented than Iowa. But I think people are a bit skeptical of Oregon because they lost to Indiana, which for some people, the way they lost to Indiana makes people kind of reconsider Oregon. I mean, you look at the fact that they're now ranked 9th. A lot of people have soured on Oregon, and plus that Wisconsin game. I really don't think that Wisconsin game should be taken all that seriously, though, because of the fact that the game was at home in a really bad weather game, and Oregon kind of sucked. Yeah, they did, but they won. I mean, they won still by 2 scores. So I don't really think that should be taken in all that consideration. as well. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't know. I think it is going to be a close game. I honestly want to pull it. I'm not the biggest guy on pulling upsets, though. I will say when I make picks, I mean, obviously, bet at your own risk on my picks. I don't encourage betting at all. But, if you guys, use my picks to bet, good luck. I know upsets happen. Because, I didn't pick Miami to lose to either SMU or Louisville while still saying that, yeah, Miami is going to choke this season. So I called that Miami was going to choke. I just didn't pick the games right that they choked. I thought it'd be later in the year. I'll go with Oregon to win 28-24. I think it's going to be an extremely close game, and I do think Iowa's going to cover, just like they did against Indiana. I think they're going to cover. But I think Oregon survives. I think Oregon's talent, just like how Indiana is very talented, I think that it was just enough for Iowa. I think Iowa has a ceiling. I feel like Iowa plays really well against teams that are at their level or worse, but when they're playing a team more talented, and Oregon is, as long as Dante Moore keeps his composure, that's the key. Dante Moore has to keep his composure in Kinnick. If he does, they don't turn it over, because he turned it over a lot against Indiana. I think Oregon wins, but this game is going to be extremely close. And if Iowa wins, I'm not surprised at all. I would be more surprised by Missouri being 8-M than Iowa beating Oregon. But I'm going to go with Oregon. I think they'll win. But it's going to be a really good game. Syracuse at Miami. Miami has to win this game. If they lost to Syracuse, that could be like Mario Cristobal almost honestly getting fired. You could say no, but Syracuse is that trash. Look at the spread. Miami's favored by 28. Syracuse is terrible. Cristobal probably would not get fired with a loss here, but I'm just telling you, it would be bad. Miami's going to win this game. They better win this game. But if Miami loses this game somehow, oh my goodness. But I'm going Miami, not even going to pick a score. Then we got Kansas at Arizona. Unfortunately, I think I'm done picking Kansas right now. I've picked Kansas a lot. No one be saying that, though. They'll end up winning. But I picked Kansas against K-State, and they got destroyed. So I'm going to go with Arizona to win this game, 31-20. Kansas doesn't look as good. Lance Leopold, some of the shine's coming off a bit. He's still done an incredible job at Kansas, but they're not having all that good of a season. Iowa State at TCU. This is a game that Matt Campbell tends to win, though. Iowa State's been kind of falling apart this season after starting out ranked and relevant. They're kind of falling apart. I just feel like this is a game that he would win. I'll go with TCU, though, by 3. I think Iowa State keeps it close. If it was at Iowa State, I would pick them. But being at TCU, I think TCU win. I still like Josh Hoover a lot. I think TCU is very flawed as well. Both these teams are just kind of middle of the pack Big 12. But it's just something telling me, like, Iowa State, this is a game it feels like they'll win, but they really aren't playing good right now. But that's usually when Matt Campbell surprises you. So I'll still go TCU, but should be an interesting little game. Then you've got Auburn at Vandy. If Auburn won this game because Hugh Freeze is gone, that would just be insane. I'm going to go Vandy by 10, though. Vandy should win this game. I hope Vandy wins this game because Auburn does not deserve to win right now. Auburn needs to hire a legitimate coach if they want to compete. Because, they've made just garbage hires after garbage hires. They keep firing people left and right. Auburn's broken. Absolutely broken. I'll go with Vandy to win. Sad thing about it is if Auburn did win this game, they'd probably make a bowl game because they've got an FCS team on their schedule still. And again, they don't deserve to make a bowl game, but, I'll go with Vandy. Then we've got Washington at Wisconsin. Luke Fickell's getting that vote of confidence. Is that going to make his team play harder? Is that going to make his team believe? Washington being ranked is interesting. I think Washington and Iowa deserve to be ranked. They've played pretty well. Really, the only game Washington kind of sucked, honestly, was that Michigan game. I don't even really say that Ohio State game because I felt like they competed against Ohio State. They tried. That Michigan game, yeah, it was in the big house. I know. But they looked terrible in that game. Other than that, they've been pretty good. I can't complain necessarily with Washington. They've been a pretty, top 25-ish team. Wisconsin's trash. They're at home, the jump around, all that kind of stuff. The house Barry Alvarez built. I don't know, man. They're horrible. Like, if Wisconsin was any bit relevant, like if they were decent at all, then I would consider an upset here because it's Wisconsin. But Wisconsin's that bad. So Washington, I'll pick by 14. I'll pick Carolina against Stanford. They're playing better. They're 3-5 now. They still got a shot at a bowl game, I believe. I mean, I can look at Carolina's schedule real quick because I'm honestly curious. Can Bill Belichick still make a bowl game? Stanford, Wake, Duke, NC State. Sadly, yeah. There's still a chance. For real. If they beat Stanford and Wake, then that puts them at 5-5. And then either Duke or NC State. Yeah, they definitely could still make a bowl. I'll go with Carolina by 10. Stanford's not a good team, even though they beat Florida State. But just honestly, surprised Florida State actually rebounded and blew out Wake last week. So interesting there. Mike Norvell trying to save his job. Wake Forest at Virginia. Wake Forest, their morale has been completely gutted. So I'll go with Virginia to win by 14. I don't think Virginia's a great team, but Wake Forest, they're not going to win on the road. Then you got Cal at Louisville. Kind of interesting that Wake Forest Virginia is on ESPN and Cal Louisville is on ESPN too. I guess it's because of the spread. But, I mean, I feel like Cal Louisville is like a little bit better of a game still, though. I don't know. But regardless of that, I mean, Louisville's favored by a lot. Louisville is still a team that I just feel like they choke in these type of games. They just do. So I don't trust Louisville. But, I mean, I cannot pick Cal. I just cannot pick Cal. They're like Wilcox. His teams always fall apart. Then they beat Stanford, get to 6 wins. So they're not going to get their 6th win here. I'll go Louisville by 17. Florida State at Clemson. And this game, the fact that this game is on ACC Network is hysterical. Because this is a primetime ABC, ESPN type of game. Almost any other time. Right? And yet you've got both of these programs completely floundering right now. Just completely floundering. I mean, Clemson might not make a bowl game, which is insane. Right now, Clemson is 3-5. I mean, Florida State playing like crap, right? Like lost to Virginia, Miami, Pitt, Stanford. But then the Wake Forest win. The Wake Forest win was good. I mean, like yeah, Wake's trash, but they blew them out. Then you look at Clemson. If Clemson loses this game, then they're not making a bowl because they have at South Carolina, they have at Louisville. It's like probably not going to win both of those games. Florida State make a bowl. And they've been losing at home too because they lost to Duke at home. They lost to SMU at home. Honestly, I hate to say it. I could be wrong on this pick, but I'm going to go with Florida State. I'm going with Florida State. Clemson is losing at home. Clemson, I think Klubnik's out too. Their defense, Tom Allen's defense is trash. I'm going to go with Florida State to win 31-27. I can't believe it, but I'm picking Florida State. LSU at Alabama. Alabama favored by 10.5. My score, I said it on Alabama at the Voice of College Football, and I'm going to stick by that pick. Alabama's going to win 35-17. I see a lot of people saying this game's going to be close because Brian Kelly got fired. They're going to play harder, but I think Alabama takes care of business. This is a rivalry game, whether you think it's a rivalry game or not. Bama's going to show up. Bama's at home. And under DeBoer, they've played a lot better at home than they have on the road. I don't think this game's that close. It could be close. I'm not saying it can't be close. But I think Alabama wins this game easily, in my opinion. Last few games, we're getting close to the end. We've got Navy, Notre Dame. I know, our good buddy Will and Dees always gets a little worried about these Navy and Army type of games, but I think Notre Dame easily wins this game. I'll go 35-10. Florida at Kentucky. I mean, that's 50-50. Florida's better than Kentucky talent-wise, but, I mean, they looked better last week. It was against their rival, though. I still don't know if Florida's as bad as Auburn, where they don't show up in any other game outside of Georgia and Alabama. I'll go with Florida by 7. I'll say 28-21 Florida. Even though Kentucky did beat Auburn, but I'll go with Florida. That's a coin flip game. Nebraska and UCLA on Fox at 9 o'clock. That is a pretty bad primetime game. Honestly, that is a pretty bad primetime game. Nebraska. Man, I don't know, dude, because Raiola is out. And their backup quarterback is not good. I don't know, dude. I feel like Nebraska's going to fall apart. I really do. I feel like Nebraska's going to fall apart. I'm going with UCLA by 7. I think Prince Charming rebounds. I think they're coming off. UCLA's coming off a bye too, I believe. Right? Is that right, or am I wrong? Because let me look that up. I want to be factual on that. After they played Indiana, were they on a bye? Yes, they were. They had a bye too. They do have Ohio State next week, but I mean, if you're UCLA though, don't even look ahead to that game. Don't even look ahead to that game. I mean, theoretically, you still, Washington home at USC. I mean, could UCLA get to 6-6? Because they're not beating Ohio State. Could they get to 6-6? I mean, it's possible, but. Oh, we got Stephen Cherry coming here. Jeffrey, I'm watching at work. Salute. Appreciate that, Stephen Cherry. It's great to be back doing a predictions live stream. Hate couldn't do it with Will. We'll definitely be live next week with Will doing our predictions earlier in the week. Scheduling conflicts this week. Still scheduled for tomorrow night. It's going to be great. Going to be awesome. Definitely can't wait to recap all these games again. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. But I appreciate that, Stephen. I mean, as some people say, you're a real one right there. I mean, that is epic. You're at work and you're still watching. I appreciate it. A lot of people can't even watch it, which sucks, right? But I appreciate that a lot, Steven. I always love seeing your messages in the chat. I love the trolling, too. We had some mighty trolls on Alabama, the voice of college football last night. My goodness. The LSU and the Auburn trolls, the amount of smack they're talking toward Alabama when they're bad, that's pretty funny. But it was a great time. Had a great time. Appreciate that, Steven. But, yeah, I'm going to go with UCLA, though. I think that with Nebraska being down their quarterback and the backup's not good and not proven at all, I hate it for Nebraska. It looks like they made it to bowl eligibility. They got 6 wins, but it looks like the rest of their season is going to be a free fall. Free fall and more than Tom Petty. So I think that UCLA, that they'll win this game 28-24. That's about it. I mean, the rest of these games are not great. UNLV, Colorado State, Sam Houston, Oregon State. The fact that Oregon State's favored by 20.5 versus Sam Houston must be awful. My goodness. That's a real spread. Yeah, Sam Houston's 0-8. Oh, my goodness. Wasn't the first year Sam Houston came to the FBS, they were like, okay. I think they were decent their first year. Now they're terrible now. 0-8. That is crazy. Oregon State, they should get their second win of the year because I know they beat Lafayette. But yeah, that should about wrap it up. Yeah, it's definitely a short stream. I'll definitely be a longer stream tomorrow, but I just wanted to get my predictions down for the week. Just wanted to go live and talk about some of the games. I mean, it's a lot more fun when you have predictions down, and then when you recap, you can talk about how great or poor your predictions were. And it's always a mix of both. Everyone, even the experts, like the most professional betting expert out there, get picks wrong. I mean, it's no physical way you can predict all these games right. It's lots of prediction, but that's what makes it fun. And it's a lot more fun when you predict these games and you've got, your word on these games, like you're putting your record on the line. It's always a blast. But do appreciate everybody for being here. Appreciate Caden's alter ego, Fairbanks. Let me get the name right. Fairbanks Freight Train 58. Definitely hope to be seeing him around. Caden / Fairbanks. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Appreciate everybody for being here. Again, if you enjoyed the show, like the stream down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Share the stream out on social media. Tell everybody else about it. Jackson always says, cashier at Publix, all that other stuff. Because, again, there's a lot of people out there that love college football. A lot of people out there that like sports. Maybe they'd be interested in the show. Maybe they wouldn't be interested in the show. But definitely, I appreciate if you let them know. Definitely, the grassroots campaign out there. Definitely appreciate all the support. You guys have been amazing. We picked up a couple subscribers during the show as well. Getting closer to 3,000 subscribers. Could not do without you guys. Appreciate it a lot. I will see you guys Saturday night. Alabama, the voice of college football. And here, Only Talk Sports. Definitely be back doing my recap for all the games. Going to be a lot of fun. Definitely appreciate you guys. and I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday.